Hello again, this is John Hourigan of the Carbon Removals Action Group. Firstly, I want to thank so many people for contacting us and supporting us in our campaign. It's very heartening when you know you have such huge support. So keep the support up, and our website is www.cragireland.com. Now I want to talk about the big problem, burning fossil fuels. The world is on fire and it's being fueled by the burning of massive amounts of fossil fuels. We dump 34.5 billion tonnes of CO2 into the atmosphere every year by burning fossil fuels. And this needs to be addressed because it's the runaway train. And it won't be addressed as long as there are so many people following the diversionary tactic of trying to blame cows for what CO2 from burning fossil fuels is doing. About 30 years ago, a very well-funded campaign was begun to distract away from the actual core issue. And in Ireland, the people who bought into this distraction were the Green Party, An Taisce and RTE. Have you ever noticed when RTE talk about global warming, they never talk about the 34.5 billion tonnes. All they ever do is put up a photograph of a cow. And these people have huge funding from the National Exchequer. An Taisce the same, they get 7 million a year. They seem to spend most of it on bashing farmers. And the Green Party seems to be endlessly funded. The Green Party don't know where they get their money, but they seem to be so well funded. I wonder where it's coming from. The oil companies must be very, very proud of them because they are certainly diverting attention away from fossil fuels. This campaign has been hugely successful and has done massive reputational damage to Irish farmers and farming. If you ask anybody in the street, you'd ask them what is the cause of global warming, they will probably tell you it's the guy milking the cow. For the Green Party, An Taisce and RTE, the notion that ruminants are causing global warming is not a matter of science. It's a matter of faith, it's a dogma, it's a belief. The science is on the side of the ruminant. Because for 40 million years, ruminants have been on this planet. And there's no reason to believe that they couldn't go another 40 million and still do no damage to the planet. At a recent Oireachtas committee hearing, one of the world's most eminent climate scientists, Professor Miles Allen, was asked by Michael Fitzmaurice, what would happen if tomorrow morning we could wave a magic wand, get rid of every ruminant on the planet, 1 billion livestock and about 0.1 billion wild ruminants. What would the effect on the global temperature be? And the reply he got was this. Professor Allen said, over a 10-year period, we would shave a few hundredths of a degree of the global temperatures on a once-off basis, and that temperature drop would be totally masked by the 0.2 of a degree that the globe's temperature is rising due to burning fossil fuels. Therefore, the killing of every ruminant on the planet would be absolutely pointless. It would have little or no effect on the globe's temperature. And that just proves the point that people are being led astray by trying to blame cows for global warming. It's a diversionary tactic. And the people who support this are actually apologists for the fossil fuel industry. People like the Green Party and An Taisce are really supporters of the fossil fuel industry, and of course RTE. I'd like also to make a plea to Marie Donnelly, the chairperson of the Climate Change Advisory Council. There's a lot of talk in the media about farmers and they're being accused of trying to fiddle the numbers. What needs to be done is to get the numbers correct. There would be absolutely no argument if our methane emissions were measured in terms of their global warming impact, which is what Professor Allen has been recommending, not the crude and out of date and totally unfit for purpose GWP 100. That does not reflect the global warming impact of methane from ruminants. What I said earlier proves that ruminants have a very small effect on the planet. So it must be measured according to their warming impact, not the very crude GWP 100, which is a CO2 equivalent. And if that was measured correctly, there is absolutely no reason why Irish agriculture could be carbon neutral in a very short space of time. But of course, the other big thing is we have to be allowed our net carbon footprint, not the gross carbon footprint. That is a ridiculous thing. We have to be allowed our removals, and there will be very little removals done except what is being done naturally, and there's heaps of that being done. But we will make no effort to remove 1 tonne of carbon until such time as we are credited with what we removed. So if our removals are measured correctly and our emissions by methane are measured correctly, the reality is for most farmers what they have to deal with is the CO2 emissions from their farms and the nitrous oxide emissions. They are genuine greenhouse gases and they do cause global warming. But everything else is a fudge on behalf of those who created the measurement. And there is going to be an almighty row if we're not treated fairly. So please, Marie Donnelly, look at the science, and it's very much on our side. So thank you very much.